Good morning, everyone, and a happy new year to you all. Happy 2021. We made it. Good morning, Travis. Glad you're here. I'm Mikki, if you've not practiced with me before, and this is officially our very first yoga and coffee, yoga and anything live stream of 2021. You've got, well, she just bowed down, but Shanti's ears in the foreground. She refuses to be on camera this morning. Um, I'm just so happy to have you all here and do this practice together this morning. As always, the invitation is to do exactly, we say what feels good in the moment. Another way to look at that is exactly what you need today, just to meet yourself where you're at, and to ease yourself into this new year with lots of space, lots of breath, lots of intention. I see people are joining us, saying hi. Happy New Year, Travis. See ya. Yay, I'm so glad you're here. So we're gonna get started. Actually, before we get started, we are gonna want probably a strap of some sort this morning. If you don't have an official strap, you could grab a hand towel or a bath towel or a shirt that you don't mind having stretched out, something that you can put behind your back and clasp between your hands. We're gonna do some behind the back clasp with a little extra space in them this morning. And then always, if you have a couple blocks, I'd go ahead and grab those as well. At least one if you have it. If you don't, no stress. All right, so take a moment to grab that. If you were using the playlist this morning, you can go ahead and push play on that. And we're going to get started in a comfortable seat. So cross-legged if that feels nice. Sitting on the heels if that's better. Legs straight if that feels most easy for your back. And always, if you need to prop your hips up on something, prop your hips up. And then let's take the hands and place them on the body very intentionally. So palms down if you feel like you need to center into yourself a bit this morning. Palms up if you feel like you need the coffee part of this class. One of each if you just have no freaking clue. And then let's blink those eyes to closed and start to settle inward in our practice. And just feel yourself begin to pull air into your body and to release air out. And start to settle into that pattern, that rhythm, that existence that is you today. Air coming in, maybe in a way that is a little more awake than it's been yet this morning. And air coming out. And within these breaths, these simple moments of time, giving yourself full space, full permission to show up as you need to show up in this moment, to show up exactly who you are in this moment, without any pressure to be who you were last year or yesterday or even last breath. And without any pressure to jump ahead and be the person that maybe you want to be next year, tomorrow, next breath. And just fully grounding into the person that you are, the way that you are, the existence that you are here as you breathe in and here as you breathe out. And in this time of year that we tend to look forward and we set those resolutions or intentions for our future self, I'm inviting you this morning to be here with your present self. And to infuse as much intention and mindfulness and value into this person that you are right here and right now as you can. Giving your full attention to you, present you, without wasting any precious energy or attention on past or future you. So here you are. This breath in. And here you are in this breath out. And I invite you every step of the way this morning, every pose, every movement, every breath, to infuse that value, that intention and attention into you here and now. Let's take just a few more breaths here this morning as we settle in. Infusing that mindfulness into the little details of this current existence and experience. Noticing all the other things that pull on your mind and pull on your attention. And just gradually inviting them to be set aside. And with your next inhale, we're just going to take your arms out into a huge, wide wingspan. Just reach wide and any amount back behind you. Might feel nice to keep the eyes closed. You might want to open them, but turn your nose toward the ceiling. And then as you exhale, let's round your spine back. Wrap those arms around you into a big New Year hug. Maybe a little pat on the back of, you've got this, whatever this year brings. Inhale, reach wide. And we'll rewrap those arms, other arm on top as you exhale. How about we do that 2 more times? Inhale wide. Exhale, wrap. Alternating that arm on top each time. And 1 more time, big reach. And solid wrap. Now we're going to keep this wrap here. And just let the spine restack, let that head lift up. And you're either going to stay here with this hug or you're going to let those arms come into an eagle option. So the elbows are crossed and stacked. You can either press the back of the hands into each other, maybe you fist, maybe you wrap the palms. Okay, so any of those options, hug, wrap of some sort. We're going to take those elbows any amount up toward the sky. Let the heart lift, let the gaze go up. And exhale, round the spine, bring those elbows in to the belly. So it's very similar to the movement we were just doing, but the arms are slightly differently oriented. Inhale, elbows up. Exhale, elbows toward belly. 1 more time, elbows up. And bring it in. Now, as you sit up and take those elbows up this time, go ahead and unravel those arms. Notice which arm was on bottom there for you. Gaze up at the ceiling. Imagine that you've got like monkey bars or a chandelier here to hold on to. And then we're going to press those palms together overhead. Keep lifting the heart upward as you bring those hands down into your heart. Now we might as well just start this new year off strong. Let's tip it back onto your sit bones, uncross those legs. Notice which leg's in front. Boat pose, toes on the ground if you'd like, or shins parallel to the floor. Or those of you that are just like, let's go 2021, maybe your legs go straight. I don't know, up to you. Steady, steady breath here. Keep the heart lifting toward your thumbs. See if you can get onto your 2 sit bones as opposed to the tailbone in the bottom of the pelvis. And then let's recross your legs, other leg in front. Inhale, arms wide. Exhale, hug and wrap. We're going to do that 3 more times. Now on that 4th and final one, I want you to end up with the arm on bottom that needs to be on bottom in that eagle wrap to be balanced. And if you forgot, don't worry about it. Just make it up. All right, so on this next one, you're going to linger in that eagle wrap. Might have done an extra one there. Counting is hard this morning. So elbows are crisscrossed. And stacked, you can stay in the hug, or you can turn those fingers upward. The arms do not have to connect. You could do two fists, press the hands, press the palms. And you've got 3 rounds here. Inhale, elbows lifting. And exhale, elbows toward belly. 2 more. Now, the next time you inhale and those elbows and arms go upward, let's just continue and unravel those arms. Take your hands to the sky. Again, imagine you have something up there to pull up on, almost like you're taking yourself out of your low back, out of those hips, out of those sit bones. And then let's press the palms together and sort of like squirting a tube of toothpaste. I want that heart to continue to lift as your hands come down into the chest. I don't know why toothpaste came to mind, but it did. I did brush my teeth this morning. All right, we're going to lean back into that boat pose shape again. You choose toes on the ground, shins hovering, or legs straight. Your choice. Giving yourself just that right amount of challenge this morning that feels strengthening and enlivening without feeling defeating and heavy and overwhelming. Now, you might choose to stay here, or you might choose to lower down toward half boat just a bit. Whee! And then come back up into full boat. You've got 4 more breaths or 4 more of those. You continue where you're at. I'm going to give the option too, if this does not feel great on your body, to support yourself on those forearms behind you and to kick legs out and in. You have 2 more wherever you're at. And now that you've said good morning to your core, let's cross those ankles, roll over onto hands and knees, and let's come into your tabletop. So from that tabletop shape, wrists below shoulders, knees below hips, and just as we typically do on our Saturday morning practices, let's do some cat-cow. Just really great spinal awakening. Inhale, belly down, head lifts. Exhale, spine rounds, and that head falls between your arms. Couple rounds here. Starting to feel that fusion, if you haven't already, of breath and movement. About 2 more rounds here. Next time you inhale, let's find that really long spine of table, the halfway point between cat and cow. We're going to sneak your right leg back to straight with the toes on the floor. And then let's go ahead and tuck your left toes under as well. Option to stay here or hover that left knee an inch off the ground. So you've got the right side of your body in plank, the left side of your body in a floating table. Try to keep your shoulders right over your wrists. Steady, steady breath. Feel that right thigh resisting toward the sky as your left thigh resists toward the back of the mat. And then let that left knee lower down. Right knee comes back to table. You can keep those toes tucked under. And then left leg straight back. We'll do that same thing on the second side. So feel the work, the effort, the essence of plank on that left side. Maybe you hover that right knee as well. We're just starting strong for the new year. You're going to get a healthy dose of plank, boat, and chair. All fan favorites. I know. You're welcome. This morning in our class. And if nothing else, my horrible jokes and humor and commentary will keep you entertained. All right, back knee down, or right knee down, left knee back into table. Let's untuck those toes. Take one more cow pose. One more cat pose. And then we'll inhale back into that table shape, tuck your toes under, and now let's take it up and back, downward facing dog. Now this is your down dog to get all of those down dog fidgets out. You can channel your favorite four-legged friend. So maybe you're a corgi with a really great shaky butt. Maybe you're an old dog with just a slow tail wag. Maybe you're a Shiba like mine and you're just too proud to be a dog at all. So you get still and steady. Let the head hang between your arms. Let the heels lengthen toward the ground, wherever you're at, whatever dog you're channeling. Feel that distribution of weight across the entire surface of your palms, evenly across all 10 knuckles, evenly across the two sides of your wrist, evenly front to back on the palms. And we're going to start to take that right leg up and back any amount. We're going to bring that right foot forward between your hands. Now we're going to start it off nice and easy here in our lunges. So let that back knee come down. You can always pad the knee if you would like with the mat rolled over or a blanket. And then let's take your two hands up to the sky, low lunge. It's up to you if those back toes are tucked under or untucked. I like mine tucked. And then as you exhale, we're going to take your hands down around that front foot. We'll do this first round kind of slow. And we're going to pull back into your half split. So for many of you, you'll kind of need to pick that front heel up and move the foot forward and letting your front leg straighten. We never do full splits in yoga and beer, so don't stress about that. Half splits is as far as you have to go. So we're going to start to go back and forth between those two shapes with our breath. And I'm going to invite you to do that on the inhale and the exhale, but if you need to slow it down to make it work for your body, slow it down. If you need to hold one of the shapes and just be there, that works too. So as you inhale, we'll come up into that low lunge shape. And then as you exhale, pull back into your half splits. We're going to take 4 rounds of breath here, 4 rounds more. And I want you to just find a way for this movement to work for you, right? It doesn't have to look like mine. There's no right or wrong. Just make it work. Now, those of you that want to get a little flowier with it, maybe your hands don't touch the ground. As you come back to the half splits, hands reach back. And then as you shift forward into that low lunge, hands swing up. However you're making this movement work for you, let's go 2 more times through. We're going to end up in your next low lunge, hands to the sky. As those hands go up, let's clasp your thumbs together, palms face forward. Pull those thumbs into each other like a little finger trap. And we're going to take your fingers up and over toward the right into a little side bend. So you're reaching away from that back leg. Let's take 2 full breaths into that low belly there. And then we'll come on back up to center. Hands come down around your front foot. Tuck your back toes under if they're not already. Straighten that leg. And let's sneak your right leg back to meet that left leg and plank. Now, as you find your plank, we're going to lower the right knee down, but left leg is going to stay straight. And it's not quite the half table we were in earlier. That right knee is further back behind the right hip, as opposed to stacked right underneath it. And then you're just going to do a little can and switch. Right leg straightens, left knee bends. We're going to go back and forth there a couple times. And even though I made the joke of the can. I want you to try to minimize how much the body rocks side to side. So try to hold that core nice and steady. And just really let the legs do the alternation here. Let's do 1 more on each side. And then we're going to end up with both knees down. Shine your heart forward. Elbows point straight back as you lower, all the way down to the belly. Chaturanga. Untuck your toes. Straighten out through those legs. Inhale, baby cobra. Hands are just barely pressing into the ground. If anything, go ahead and pull them back. And then exhale, come on back down to the belly. Let's press into hands and knees. And we're going to press all the way back to child's pose this round, just so that seed is planted, you know it's there. Knees wide, big toes together. hips to heels, and forehead to the ground, or if it doesn't quite reach, stack your hands and give yourself a pillow. Couple steady breaths here into the places that need the breath, need the attention, need the intention. And just honoring within yourself that if this practice, for whatever reason, hasn't felt good for you yet this morning, you're feeling anxious, you're feeling agitated, you're feeling ungrounded, you're wanting me to hurry up and get moving, whatever it may be, that the practice you've had so far doesn't have to define the rest of the practice. I know I do that sometimes in my own practice. It feels unsettled and it easily spills into the rest. Just try to stay committed to each and every breath being this new opportunity, this new beginning, to be with yourself here in the moment, undefined by the breath before and the breath after. All right, this child's pose is here for you anytime you need it. Let's come on up into your table shape. Tuck those toes under, hips up and back, downward facing dog. We're going to do all of that on the second side. So left leg lifts when you're ready. No pressure on how high it goes. It could stay fairly low. And we're going to take that left foot, step it all the way forward between your hands, and let that right knee come on down to the ground. You choose if you need to pad the back knee or the toes need to be tucked or untucked. We'll take your hands to the sky, low lunge. And then when you're ready, hands come down around that front foot. Let's shift back into your half splits. And this first one is always clunky. Just make it work for you. So that front leg straightens any amount. Taking this next sequence or movement at your own pace and feeling free to choose stillness over movement at any point. All right, so perhaps with your inhale, we shift forward into that low lunge. And with your exhale, we head back into that half split shape. And just begin to move that at your rhythm, your pacing, and in a way and a style that really works for you. How about 2 more rounds here? Now, the next time we come into that low lunge, hands to the sky, let's linger. Let's latch those thumbs together. Pull the thumbs into each other and begin to reach those fingers over to the left, side bending away from your back leg. We'll lift those hands back up to the sky. Release thumbs. Take your hands down around your front foot. Tuck those back toes under if they're not already. Straighten that back leg and we'll sneak back into plank. So I'm going to give just a little invitation for those of you who don't love being on your wrists. You can always, when we're doing plank work, come down onto elbows instead. So you choose hands or forearms. We're going to do that little alternating knee thing again. And those of you that are wanting a little bit more, instead of alternating, you're going to do both knees. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. Do you have 3 more rounds in you? You have that child's pose option whenever you need it. Never pressure yourself to do all the things on your mat or off. If you came down onto forearms, let's come back up onto hands. And then you choose for this chaturanga, knees up or down. We're lowering all the way down to the belly again. Once you're on the belly, we'll find your chaturanga. Or sorry, not chaturanga, cobra. As much lift as you would like. I'm keeping mine low this morning. And then back to the belly, forehead comes down. We'll push up through table. And this time, let's head right on back into your downward facing dog. From this downward facing dog, we're going to take a little stroll to the front of the mat. So maybe 5 or 6 steps to get your feet to your hands. Bend your knees when you need to. Keep your legs straight as long as you can. And then as you get to the top of the mat, let the knees bend, let the spine drape, let the head drape, let the hands drape. Let's take a big inhale here, fill up. Open your mouth and just let everything flop, everything release. And then allow the corners of your mouth to turn up just slightly toward your cheeks. Start to bend your knees and come up with smiles for likely your first chair pose of 2021. Definitely not your last. Hands can be at heart or reaching to the sky, and just feel that rooting, that grounding of your heels. I think of it like you're trying to moonwalk. You don't want to see my moonwalk. But you're pushing those heels down into the ground and just sliding them back. And then go ahead and let your legs straighten, hands reaching up toward the sky. Let's press those palms together. And again, that idea of that tube of toothpaste, heart lifting as your hands come down into the chest. Big full inhale here. Long, intentional exhale. Inhale, hands reach up. Exhale, let's fold. Any amount of bend to your knees that you need. We'll inhale, halfway lift. Just let those fingers slide up the shins, maybe even as high as the knees so that your hamstrings get a moment to strengthen. And then exhale, let's fold. Just a little half sun salutation to start this morning. So inhale, we'll reach up, stand up. And heart up, hands down. Let's add on. Starting the same way, inhale, hands reach up. Exhale, we fold. Halfway lift as you breathe in. And then as you fold, we'll exhale. Right foot will stay. Left leg steps back. Let's keep that back knee off the ground this time if that works for you. We'll come on up into your crescent lunge. And as you find your crescent lunge, let's straighten the front leg. And then as you exhale, we're going to bend your front knee, hands to heart. We're going to tap left elbow, right thigh. Boop. And then inhale, untwist, reach up, straighten that front leg. Let's do that 2 more times. Exhale, lean and tap. Inhale, reach up and lengthen. 1 more time. This time as you exhale, we'll bend that front knee. Let your hands come down around the front foot. Back you go into plank. You have 3 breaths here. Let's make it 4 so you're even side to side. You can alternate the knee taps or you can do them in tandem. You can do anything for 4 breaths. I like to exhale into the knee bend. Inhale into the straighten. Last one here. Decide if you want knees up or down for chaturanga. And if you're skipping the vinyasa this morning, we'll meet you in downward facing dog. Staying with your breath to lower, lifting into that back extension as you breathe in. Back to the belly, exhale. And up and back you go, downward facing dog. So that chaturanga, cobra, or back bend sequence is called a vinyasa if that's newer to you. And we do them in between sequences as sort of a sorbet palate cleanser. You can skip them and meet up in down dog or child's pose anytime you need. When you're ready, we'll take your left leg, lift it up and back, and step your left foot forward, boop, between the hands. It might not be super graceful. Sometimes it takes a few tries. We'll come up into that crescent shape. Once you feel steady, let's straighten your front leg. And then we're going to bend the knee, hands to heart, right elbow taps, left thigh, and then back up you go. 2 more times there. Exhaling into the rotation, inhaling into the length. This next time you exhale, we'll just bend the front knee, let those hands come down around the front foot. Right foot steps next to the left. Bend your knees. Beloved chair pose, come on up. Hands at heart or hands to sky, whatever your shoulders feel nice with this morning, in honor of Jerry. Let's shift into that right foot. Bring that left foot to your bottom, just like a little flamingo. Also in honor of Pink Pam. And then put that left foot down. Shift into that left foot, right foot hovers, flamingo. Right foot down. Let's straighten those legs. Rise up, reach up, and hands to heart. Pausing, steadying, breath in. And breath out. But we stay for one more inhale. One more exhale. And then we begin again. Hands go up, inhale. And we fold, exhale. Halfway lift, breath in. Exhale, we fold. We'll step the right leg back. We're going to come up into that crescent shape again. Let's let the front leg straighten. Give that space for a moment. And then this time as you exhale, we're going to bend the front knee. Right elbow to left thigh, but this time we're going to linger. So I like to just tap the top of the thigh. I know some of you will want to go outside the thigh. And then there's even a little more space. No touch. Right elbow is down, left elbow is up. I'm going to give an option for some challenge this morning. If you're happy here and this next thing seems absolutely ridiculous, you just stay. Or take your eyes, look at the ground. Step your right foot next to your left foot and come into revolved chair. Try to get the knees even. Try to drop the hips just a bit. Keep looking at the ground. And we're just going to step that right leg back into your revolve lunge. Whew, that happened, but it's done. Untwist, hands to the sky. And then hands come down around your front foot. Back you go into plank. Hands or forearms. You have 4 breaths. Knees could just be permanently down, or you can alternate taps, or you can do the taps in tandem. Make it work for you. That child's pose is always there if you decide that that is the best place for you to be. And then we'll decide if you want that vinyasa or not. If you don't, head to down dog. If you do, knees up or down, we'll lower chaturanga. Cobra or up dog, your choice. Back to the belly. Up through plank or table. And downward facing dog. When you're ready, we'll lift your right leg to the sky. Use your exhale to bring that foot forward between your hands. Crescent lunge, come on up. Let's straighten that front leg for a beat. Give it some space. And then we'll bend the knee, hands to heart, left elbow down, right elbow up, hovering, tapping, or latching. Now, just because maybe you choose not to take this next option doesn't mean that you didn't do the whole practice, doesn't mean that you're less than or not strong enough. There's a lot of value and intention to be had right here. So whatever you choose to do pose-wise, let it be fully attended to and intended. Try not to just quit on it, okay? So stay here if you'd like, or look down at the ground if you want that little exploration of challenge. Left foot to right foot. Full breath in that revolved chair. And then left foot steps back. Full breath in your revolved lunge. Untwist, hands come down. We step left foot next to right foot. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Don't come up, chair. Just let your head hang. Let those arms dangle. And let the belly rest on your thighs. Let's take those back molars, separate them. Move your jaw a little side to side. Take your head, give it a couple shakes. And then let's take your shoulders without moving the rest of the body. Just draw your shoulders toward the ceiling. And then let those shoulders crash down. Deep, deep bend to your knees. Let's roll up. Inch by inch by inch by inch. Bringing yourself all the way up to standing with those arms beside you. Let's turn the palms forward, thumbs out. Feel that space. Feel that stack. Feel the breath, moment by moment. And sip and savor the essence, the presence of each breath. That great exploration in our practice of who am I? Asked in this moment, in this breath, over and over and over again. Now let's blink those eyes open. Go ahead and grab whatever you're using as a strap this morning. So maybe it's a yoga strap, maybe it's a hand towel, maybe it's product placement. Maybe it's your yoga and your flannel. If you don't have one yet, you can get one online. And we're just going to take that behind your back. Give yourself, maybe 12, 16 inches of space so you don't have to clasp the hands. You've got a little more room to breathe this morning. And let's move your hands toward the ground. Let the heart lift. Feel broad across your collarbones. And just the softest suggestion of shoulder blades toward each other on your back. Now let's start to bend your knees down toward chair. Put your weight over into that right foot. Let's step your left leg back into your lunge. And then step that left foot back into chair. Let's do that 2 more times. Stepping back, lunge. Stepping forward, chair. Try to keep the shoulders on the back body the whole time. So we have this tendency for them to roll onto the front body, but guess what? They actually live on the back. One more time, left leg steps back. Now, as you step back into this lunge, let's drop that back heel into the floor, spin your left toes out, knuckles toward the ground a little bit more, heart toward the sky. You might start to turn the palms so that they face each other. And if you've got a kind of bendable shirt or strap or hand towel, that'll be doable. Root into that back heel, and let's start to bow any amount forward toward that front thigh. Let those arms fall any amount overhead. And then inhale, come right back up. How about we do that 2 more times? Exhale, bow. Inhale, lift. Last one. And then we'll come on up. Let's take a little lean over that front thigh. Start to move the weight back into that right foot. Step your left foot forward next to your right, back into your chair shape. And let's fold the belly over the thighs. Let those arms fall away from the back. Root down into your feet. Rise all the way up to standing. One more breath. Knuckles toward the ground, heart toward the ceiling. And then go ahead and release that strap, whatever you're using. Just let it ditch by the side of your mat. And then 2 hands up toward the ceiling. Exhale, let's fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we'll bow. Let those hands plant. Let's step back to plank. Steady, steady. Maybe you alternate knees. Maybe you take those tandem knee taps. Maybe you just hold your plank. One more full breath. And then let's vinyasa or head to downward facing dog. We'll meet up there. From your down dog, let's take your right leg, lift it up and back. And step your right foot forward between your hands. Ground that back heel. Come on up. Warrior one. Press into that right big toe, straighten your front leg. We're going to bring your 2 hands down onto your hips, elbows bent and hugging back. Those of you who like to reverse prayer, do that namaste shape behind the back. You can do that. Either way, let's take heart high, shoulders back. Try to keep those shoulders on the back body, and we're going to fold any amount over that front thigh. You might stay pretty kind of shallow in the fold. Some of you, forehead will come down to shin, but try not to make that the goal. Keep those shoulders on the back body. Keep the weight moving into that back foot. And then sneak a little bend into that front knee. Release your hands forward, step into that right foot, left foot next to right, and let's come on up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart. Steady breath in. Steady breath out. Let's grab your strap or whatever you're using as a strap-like object. All right, one more time with the clasp. So I like to start with my palms facing back, and then like we did last time, we'll rotate palms in at some point. Knuckles dropping down, heart buoyant, shoulders back, tailbone heavy. We're going to start to bend your knees down into chair. Weight into that left foot, right leg steps back. And then right back into chair. 2 more times. Right leg back. And chair. Notice how much those shoulders want to droop forward. Back, back, back. All the way back into your lunge. This time we'll drop that back heel, toes spin out. Let the knuckles drop toward the ground a little bit more. Exhale, humble warrior, bowing toward that front thigh, letting your arms fall away from the back. Now we'll come back up. If you haven't yet and you want to, turn the palms to face each other. 2 more times. Exhale, humble. Inhale, lift. One more time, bow. And lift. We'll lean a little forward this time. Step into that left foot. Right leg comes forward. Let your belly fall to the thighs. Let those arms fall overhead any amount. Root down into those heels. Come all the way up to standing. Heart high, shoulders back and down, hands down. And then release that object. Just drop it off to the side. 2 hands up to the ceiling. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. You have your final plank here. We'll let your hands come down to the ground. Step it back. You have those same 4 breaths, alternating taps, double tapping, or just being still somewhere. Hands or forearms. What you've done the rest of this practice does not need to define what you do in this moment, in this plank opportunity. That was horrible. I'm sorry. Well, vinyasa when you're ready, or meet up in downward facing dog. As you find that down dog, left leg to the sky, final time. We'll step that left foot forward between the hands, ground your back heel, and come up into warrior 1. Straighten the front leg. Hands on hips with those elbows, thigh mastering back, or reverse prayer. Either way, heart up, collarbones broad, shoulders on the back body, back leg strong, and let's tip forward any amount. Just feel within your body the moment at which, if you go further forward, you'll be rounded. The shoulders will dive forward. You'll lose your length. Keep that weight moving into the back foot. And then bend your front knee softly. Release those arms forward. Right foot next to left. Final chair pose. And legs straighten, hands reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Full complete breath in. Full complete breath out. Start to bend your knees. We're going to come all the way down to the ground. Maybe lowering through a squat. Just be kind and compassionate to your knees and your ankles. Do what you need to do to safely get down to the ground. As you find yourself down on the floor, let's keep those legs bent. Wrap your hands or arms around shins or thighs, bracing yourself with that grab on the legs. Round back just a bit. Let the head fall forward. And then pull into those legs, belly toward thighs, heart lifts. Let's do that one more time, rounding back. Sitting up tall. And then this time as you round back, we're going to roll all the way down onto the back side of the body. If you have a block, go ahead and bring it down with you. If you don't, no stress. As you come down onto the back, we're going to bend the knees, place the feet flat on the ground, knees and feet hip width apart. And let's take your hands on the ground beside you with the palms facing the floor. We're going to push the palms down into the ground. And as you do that, let those shoulders drop into the floor. And then as much as you're pushing down into the floor, let's lengthen out through the fingertips as though those arms could get longer toward your heels. Let's keep that effort. Press into the feet. Start to lift your hips. Let those hips lift, but more importantly, let the back of the heart dome up into the front of the heart. You might wiggle your shoulders underneath you just a little bit more. Try to keep your gaze straight up. Try not to turn your head and look at the screen in this pose. Steady, steady. And then nice and slow. Hips come down. Recommit to palms and shoulders pressing down, fingers reaching toward the heels. See if you can create a sense of freedom around the neck. Draw your belly button and the back of your ribs down into the floor while pressing the back of your shoulders into the ground. And then one more time, we'll come up for bridge. Hips lift. Keep letting that heart dome upward. You might walk shoulders underneath you. Some of you this round might take your hands into a clasp underneath your back. And then just imagine that your legs, your feet could actually do all of the work of holding this pose. Is it possible to feel like you're standing in those feet so much that you could just float your shoulders and your head off the ground? I'll never ask you to do that, but just feel like you could. And then release that clasp if you have it. Hips come on down to the floor. Little sway of those knees, side to side. Now let's bring that right knee into your chest. Let that left leg crawl out straight onto the floor. We're going to release your right arm out to a T or a goalpost shape on the floor beside you. Use that left hand to guide your right leg across the body into a twist. Allow yourself to roll to the outer edge of your right thigh as much as feels nice. And then this right leg has some options. I personally just like to tuck my right foot on my left inner thigh. Some of you, right foot on the floor. Some of you, take that right leg out to straight and let that right foot rest on the ground. Either way, breathe deeply into that space between the right outer hip, all the way out through the right waist, all the way up and out through the right shoulder and arm. And then we'll ease ourselves back to center, onto the back. Place that right foot on the ground and bring your left knee all the way into the belly for a hug. When you feel ready to do so, let that right leg crawl out to straight. When you feel ready to take it into the twist, left arm releases toward the side and we'll guide that left leg across the body with your right hand. Now you've got all those same options. Get onto that outer right hip and then allow that left leg to settle into the rotation and the twist, however and wherever you need it. Now we're going to ease ourselves back to center. Those of you who have a block, I'm going to invite you to grab it and place it on its lowest setting underneath your pelvis. Those of you who do not have a block, you're just going to keep your pelvis flat on the ground. All right. Arms beside you. One knee up, whether you have the block or not. Second knee up. You can keep your legs bent here and just make sure that that block feels like it's in the right place if you're using it. If you would like to take your legs up toward the sky, also an option. Whether the legs are straight or bent, allow this or invite this to be a shape that feels kind of soft and easy. It feels grounding, right? Just really letting everything settle into the brain, into the head. Steady breath. Notice what parts of you could allow themselves to be supported a little bit more. Where is there unnecessary effort? If your legs are straight up toward the sky, let's go ahead and bend them one at a time. And then let one foot at a time come down to the ground. Compassionately, gently lift those hips if you've got the block and slide the block out. Hips lower down. And then let those legs straighten out into your final resting shape of this practice this morning. Whichever shape allows you to be really easy in your body in this moment. To be supported. To feel fully attentive to and intentional in this moment. Allowing yourself to begin again over and over again. Let's take this next inhale a little more fully and deeply. Presently here with yourself. And a full, long exhale. Let's do that again, but this time take your arms up overhead. Allow yourself to just reach toward the back of your space, elongate. And as though you could exhale from your entire body, just feel that release of air. Just no rush here. As you feel ready, let's bend your knees and invite yourself to gently and slowly roll to a side. Eventually, over time, coming up to a comfortable seat. Letting your hands come together in front of your heart, palm to palm. Carrying with you today this essence that you created and that you held and that you nurtured in your practice this morning. This person that is you. And carrying with you that permission that new beginning, that fresh start doesn't just happen on January 1st. It happens moment to moment within each and every breath that we take. To give attention and intention to who we are and how we're showing up in this moment. Thank you all so much for being here together this morning as a community. I can't wait to spend another year practicing and cheersing with you. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed your practice this morning. I know that felt particularly good for me. I hope it felt good for you too. A couple quick things before we head off. Donation information's in the description of the video, also up on our website if you would like to contribute for class this morning. We suggest $5 per yogi, but we want it to be comfortable and doable for you. So there's Venmo information at Thanks for Yoga, PayPal, yoga and beer thanks at gmail.com. And those of you who have the Yoga and Beer app, you can always sign up for class beforehand and donate that way as well. So those are the details there. We are back to our normal 10 a.m. Saturday coffee class, Monday at 6 p.m. Bring your own beverage class. And then we're adding, starting this Wednesday, a midweek. It's literally on the hump of the week, noon on Wednesday, 30-minute movement-based practice to just help you get through your work week. So that's starting this week at noon, 30 minutes. I'm teaching this week. It'll be a rotation of me, Jamie, and Yulia. So look for that. Let me see all of these lovely notes. Thank you, Jamie. Glad you were here. Happy New Year, Howard. Glad you were here and felt energized. Thank you, Karen. Happy New Year. Brooke, thank you. See you soon. Ruth, glad you were here. I'm glad you liked the strap work. Stephanie, enjoy your soreness tomorrow. Think of me fondly. Mom, thank you. Love you. Glad you're here. Zia, I'm so good to be, it's really good to be practicing with you again lately. I'm glad you were here. Neil and Jean, thank you so much. Becca, yay. Happy New Year. Thanks for being here. Catherine, thank you, thank you, thank you. Shelly and David, happy 2021. Glad you're here. I'm assuming David's there, maybe not, but tell him hi for me. Jade, thank you so much. Glad you were here with us. All right, I'm going to start to creep this way to turn this off. I think that was all the messages. Happy New Year, everyone. See you soon. Take care.